Hey guys, it's me again, and I have a guest with me, the lovely Ruby the dog. I've had her for almost a week. My mom is away on business, so she's my house guest. She's been keeping me company all week. We just got in from a nice walk at night because I had a lot of hospital stuff that I had to get done today, so I didn't really get a chance to walk her too much during the day, but it was still nice enough to go out for a walk tonight. So I've decided to do this video today on autoimmune diseases, mainly just because I've had a lot of questions over the last week about what's going on with me, mainly on Facebook for people who know me. So basically I'm just going to talk about that today. It's not really too much on endo with this video today, but I will mention it a little bit. So as I mentioned on my last video, I am going to be going into trial treatments actually tomorrow. I get my first dose. And basically what my doctors have decided to do is put me on an immunosuppressant drug for 3 months. Mainly just to see if I react well, if my symptoms start resolving. I've been getting a lot of symptoms with the autoimmune condition that I have currently, well, that I've had for probably my life. I shouldn't say currently, but basically what autoimmune diseases are is, in shorter terms, is basically an overactive immune system. So as we all know, we have immune systems in our bodies, and they're consistent of white blood cells and neutrophils and whatnot, and these cells are made to attack foreign bodies like viruses, bacteria. It's also part of our repair system. Our platelets are what clots our blood and give us scabs and whatnot when we cut ourselves. They build up and make a protective layer. It's basically all the same thing. It's just there to protect our bodies. And in cases like me, the immune system doesn't really act quite normal. It's basically, yes, it still protects me and I'm still able to fight off viruses and whatnot. It takes me a little bit longer. I'm more prone to pneumonia. I've had pneumonia a number of times. I've been lucky, though, it hasn't scarred my lungs, knock on wood. But if I get it a few more times, then I'm looking at that. So I've got to be careful. But basically what happens is with people with autoimmune diseases like myself, and there's many autoimmune diseases, but pretty much all of them do about the same thing. Some of them are more extreme than others. Mine isn't too bad, but it can get bad, and that's what they're trying to prevent right now by putting me on this medication. So basically what it does is it attacks tissues in the body. So with my particular disease, it attacks my eyes, as I've mentioned in the past. My mouth, it's giving me what they think is possibly Sjogren's syndrome, which is, it's when the body attacks the mucosal cells. So I'm not able to lubricate my eyes properly. I'm not able to lubricate my mouth. And it's starting to affect my swallowing reflex. So if I eat certain foods, I have a hard time swallowing sometimes. It's not so bad that I can't swallow. It kind of feels like it gets caught. And then I just have to drink lots of water. That's another thing. I feel like I'm drinking so much water a day that it doesn't feel like it's really replenishing me, which is a big symptom of Sjogren's syndrome. You feel thirsty all the time. And that's the thing with autoimmune conditions, it it's really hard to diagnose. It's really hard. And even though the first rheumatologist that I saw years ago said that I most likely have Bechets disease, the more recent doctor that I saw last week doesn't really know what autoimmune condition I really have because all my symptoms don't really add up. There's a few symptoms that are missing, like with Bechets disease. There's a long list of symptoms, but the most common symptoms are uveitis, which I've had once years ago. Stop your growling. She hears people coming home. It's still early evening, so people are coming home. So if she barks or growls, just ignore her. She's a dog. Anyways, so basically going back to Bechets disease, the symptoms that I have, I mean, I don't really get every single symptom. So that's what's kind of baffling the doctors right now. They're not really sure what disease I have. They are still leaning towards Bechets, but they're just not 100% yet. So with me, like I said, most of the time you get uveitis, joint pain, muscle weakness, constant fatigue. You're always tired, and that's something I struggle with every single day. I literally feel like I have no energy whatsoever. I could sleep an entire night and still feel like I need to sleep. It's just a constant battle. Genital ulcers is another thing. I've never gotten those. And that's one of the main symptoms. That and mouth ulcers. I get mouth ulcers like no tomorrow. They're extremely painful and make it extremely hard to eat. When I get them, my gums bleed and they're just so uncomfortable. And you're just in pain for about 3 days and then they clear up and you're fine. They also form in my throat, so that's another thing. I think that's also why I kind of have a hard time swallowing is when I do get them. I can feel them and they're kind of just irritating. I don't have any right now, which is good. And then joint pain is another thing. And then basically inflammation of vessels, so blood vessels, veins, arteries, capillaries, all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, systemic problems. So, gastric problems, all that kind of stuff with Bechets. Now, I do have those symptoms, but again, there are still symptoms that are missing from their list. So I don't meet every single symptom, but I meet a good chunk of it, and that's why they're still leaning towards Bechets. So at this time, I'm going to say I still have Bechets until they tell me otherwise. And that's basically what they told me too. So anyways, I start this trial med tomorrow, and then the reason why they're calling it a trial med is because they don't know if they'll keep me on it for a good length of time, but if I react really well with it and my symptoms subside, then they will keep me on it. The reason why I say if I react well with it is because there are quite a list of side effects with this medication. I have to be monitored very closely every month for my liver is number one, and to see how low my white counts drop. If they drop too much, then I may need a transfusion. But if they stay within normal range, then I'm good, and we will keep going with the treatments. But yeah, it really all depends how well I react to the medication and how well my symptoms disappear and whatnot. And if they do, then we keep going with the meds. It's a slow-acting med, so I have to take it for 6 weeks to see how I do. Anyways, so that's really something I just wanted to kind of quickly talk about. And also I did want to mention that endometriosis is considered an autoimmune condition as well. It has finally been placed into that category. So anyways, keep watching, like and subscribe me, and look for more videos. Thanks, bye.